What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, what up, John?
Good.
What's
What up,
up? How you
Nino? What up,
doing?
Disco?
Yeah, I want to introduce prison hard, death row, shot collar, Dominic Mysterio.
A huevo.
It's all the
Dominic, I gotta give you credit. Let me ask you quick. Let me ask you this, okay? Because I know you listen to the podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you hear me talk about how I
Do
think
you
it's very
think
important.
Disco's long-winded because he thinks he isn't?
This Disco tends to talk, but it's always in a. I feel like it comes in a good way, right? He means well.
All
Right.
right.
So it's always funny because like I always talk about how you need to look like you know how to fight for real to be believed. And I like the way you've incorporated your offense lately when you get on a guy and you start punching him and kicking him. And it looks did you kind of just pick that up like that, or did you start practicing it because your punches and your kicks look really good? Did you like
Um,
how,
it's kind of something that my dad always kind of put in my head. He always said my punches and my kicks always had to look good, and I've heard you guys tell me, a couple weeks when I worked Tazawa and I had him in the corner, you guys said my kicks looked a little weak, so I had to lay them in a little bit more. So
Mhm.
just every now and then I try to, lay it in a bit more, but always be professional about it.
Right.
So I mean, I kind of just do what I can in the in the 2.5 years that I've been in this so far.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That looks good, and I always tell like when I train people, I said do a lot of the stuff that looks good, and don't do a lot of the stuff that you don't look good doing. You know, so if you look good, your punches look really good, and your kicks look really good. I would do that every single match. And like, bro, as a heel, that's all you got to do with your character is get in there, punch the guy, kick him, work the crowd, then go tag out. You know, so like that's really because that gets heat. You know, people don't like that. Like you just all you do is get your and then you leave. You know, so I mean,
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
literally. And
You know?
as soon as I get touched, whether it's by someone in the corner or someone else, I instantly go tag out, whether it's to
Right.
Priest or to Finn, or I'll go crawling to Mommy.
Yeah, right. That's good stuff. But bro, you hear the crowd. That gets good heat. You know, so it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Dom. So when you started, there was no crowds, right?
Correct.
Okay, so when you went up there, did you get any sort of adrenaline rush, even though there was no crowd, or no?
Yeah, for me it was, dude, I was pumped every time to go up there. 'Cause
Okay,
I
so
did,
here's
Were
my.
you, wait, were
But
you
here's my other.
nervous? Were you
go
nervous
ahead.
were you nervous or comfortable?
Mm, I think my debut I was nervous. But then all the other times as I kept going out, I started getting more and more comfortable with it. And now
Well,
it's kind of just like second nature.
here's one thing I noticed when I started because you never did indie wrestling. You didn't
Hmm.
know crowds than big crowds, right?
Right.
I would be more nervous in front of a small crowd than I would a big crowd. And the thing was, it's like because when the small crowds, you can specifically hear people. Like you can hear one fan getting in your ear, and like and you said it gets in your mind, and they get distracted. But when you're a big crowd, there's just that roar, that kind of like energy. Like you don't hear specific things, you just kind of hear, you kind of feel the energy from the crowd, like the
Hmm.
noise, but not like the specific thing.
But
What was it like for you?
I think it was kind of just learning on the fly because when I first started, there was no crowd, so I would hear kind of just like the audio reaction, and I would hear like my dad kind of just giving me pointers. But then once we went to live crowd, my first live crowd match was with Cena and my dad against Roman and the Usos. So I had John in there just kind of guiding me and telling me like what to listen for, how to do it. And whether we were in that moment or not, he would tell me what to listen for exactly. And after the match, if I missed it or if there was something that I could have done better, he'd point it out right then and there. And he's like, "You gotta listen to them. If there's something that they're asking for, you got to give it to them."
So I got two questions. The first one will be quicker. Uh, when you were in the corner with John, did you ask him to put you in the next Suicide Squad movie or Trainwreck 2? Nothing.
Trainwreck 2 would have been better.
All right. Number two. So here's the question that I want to know. So here you are wrestling with no fans, right?
Mhm.
Bro, what type of adrenaline rushed through your body when you were in the ring with Cena, the Usos, and your dad, and you heard the fans pop? Because that's like a drug, bro.
It was surreal for sure. I mean, you guys know, right?
Yeah,
I like for me it was like I had almost like tears coming out of my eyes, but like
yeah,
I had to like control myself because I
yeah.
was Actually, it wasn't Cena, it was Edge. And then we started the house shows with Cena. So my
Right.
first match was with Edge. And then I just remember all three of us, it was Edge, my dad, and then me. And I had the tag titles with my dad at the time. So it was just like it was everything like just surreal at the time. And it was kind of just like, dude, what the fuck is my life, right? And
Yeah.
then
And that
we just kept
adrenaline
going.
rush, bro, is incredible. It's like a drug, dude, and you get
It's
addicted.
there's like nothing of it, you
Yeah.
know. And now it's weird because when I don't perform on like a Monday, like for example,
Yeah.
these 2 weeks that I wasn't on Monday Night Raw because I was doing my hard time and the highlights, but my body's on Mondays. I'm like, and even Saturdays and Sundays because I do the live events. I'm like, there's something missing, right? There's like I shouldn't. It's 8 o'clock, and I'm like, my body's feeding for something,
Right.
and I never know what it is, and it's that adrenaline rush.
Yeah. And
Go
here's the other
go
thing,
go to
Dominic.
the gym and do cardio while you watch the show. Is the
Yeah.
best way to get through it. You know, if you're off the show, like that fills the void. You know.
Plus, here's the thing about you that now, as a heel, if you don't get booed, you don't feel good, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
Mhm.
where's the booze? Oh, got him. And there's your adrenaline rush as a heel, which is great. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, you're killing the game, bro. That's you know. I tell you all the time.
Well,
you know.
plus two is like we talk about this all the time. Like like with the Top Dollar guy, recently, like in you.
Dollar store, I call them nothing.
But it's like, bro, sometimes when when you're doing this, you're just way more comfortable healing than you are being a babyface. And it's like if
Yeah.
you like you went from being kind of like an uncomfortable babe, like you could tell, like you want to be a babyface, but when you started out, you have no crowd to play to, so you don't really know how to get the pops. Then
Mhm.
you go in front of the live crowd, but it's like I've never done this before, live crowd. What do you do to get the pops and everything? And it's kind of, if you're not getting the pops, it kind of like holds you back from like working the crowd, which you need to do. But then like all of a sudden you turn heel and it's like, wow, I just feel way more comfortable being a jerk. You know,
Yeah.
is that what you felt?
I think so. I think for me it was just like I played for when I first started with my dad, it just seemed like an over exaggerated version of me because I'm very laid back and very calm, and I just felt like I had to match my dad's energy. So it was always very like always smiling, and because they were like, dude, you got a good smile, smile more.
Acting like a baby face. Like you have to
Yeah.
act
Kinda
like
cheesy.
one, right. You got to
Yeah.
act like one instead of like you're not one of it, but I have to act like one. But like the heel is like you could just you can
Be
just
a
be
and
cocky. It's just
you don't gotta
like-
worry about it. You
Yeah.
go up on a high spot, and that doesn't matter because if they boo, you're a heel.
Right.
Yeah, and I felt like I just had more options and like more variety to play with and as a heel and stuff, and I did feel a lot more comfortable. And plus when I was training before I debuted, I would always when I would do matches, I would always be the bad guy, I'd always be the heel, working the baby face in training. So it kind of just came a little bit more natural and comfortable for me.
I said at the pay-per-view I was at in Philly that just you coming out and every time you interacted in the match, that Philly crowd, like the visceral hatred and boos went up like a big time notch. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like me, man.
That's good. That's how you're doing your job, bro. That's that's why we like you so much because of that. Because
Yeah.
people just
You're working with you had your dad and you're working in a group now with Finn and Priest and them and everything and you're working with the writers and stuff everything. Where a lot of your like how is the creative input like with you guys? Do Finn and Priest and everything have a lot of input in it, or is it kind of like the writers come and just give you everything and it's like I'm like whose idea was the hard time stuff?
It was kind of like all a collective team effort. I feel like the writers put in a lot of the effort and kind of pitch us their ideas, and we roll with it. And whether it's Finn or Priest or Rhea that kind of have their options or kind of have a different take on what's being presented to us,
Mhm.
they'll talk to them, and they're very open to what changes that we may want to do or whatnot.
which is the smart way to work with talent because back in the day, the office would tell you what to do, and that was basically it.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, if there is things that are wanted a certain way, and we're like, I feel like 99% of the time it fits what we're doing anyways. So we don't really, there's not much for us to change or kind of put in our way because they're kind of forming it and writing it to us, and it works.
Who have you been working on the road?
We've been working the OC, So it's
The OC
been
didn't AJ break his ankle?
yeah. So it's been Carl and Luke and Mia or
Right.
Michin versus either Finn, me and Rhea, or Priest, myself and Rhea. So they'll alternate, and I'll stay in.
Bro,
Who have you?
Luke and
Go.
Carl are they love to have a good time. Tell them what's up. Very cool
Will do.
guys. Yes.
Let me ask you a question. So when you started going on the house show loops and everything, who did you learn like the most like because I like I was green when I got into WCW, and then you kind of like you start working guys like Eddie Guerrero, Jericho, and stuff. And when you work the guys in the pro level, you just start learning way more than you did when you worked indies, right? And so you just pick up stuff fast. Who did you like? Who have you worked so far? That's like wow, like you finished working with them in the house show loops and stuff. It's like I made some positive strides here. I improved because I worked with this person. Who would you say would that be?
Honestly, there's a lot of names I could throw out there. I've been
Like
very
throw some names out who you felt you had good matches with. I loved working with the best person I've ever been in the ring with was Eddie Guerrero. Like from a town like wow, the best experience I ever had in the wrestling ring was with Ric Flair, because it was the first time I'd ever wrestled somebody, and I literally felt like I was just being dragged through the match, and I didn't have to do anything, and he was like just bringing me through. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before. I've never worked with somebody that was that good at calling it in the ring and just leading me through. Like who? Like, give me some examples of stuff like that.
So for me, when I first started my live events back on the crowd from, it was Cena, my dad, and myself versus Roman and the Usos, and we were the main event for the whole month leading up to SummerSlam.
Right.
So I just worked with I was the one taking the heat, and it was Roman and the Usos. Man, they're
great.
They're top.
Great.
You know, I can't
100%. They're Hall of Famers. You know,
yeah, 100%.
You're working with Hall of Famers. Like it's like you and 5 Hall of Famers in the ring, right? Exactly, right.
Literally, I have 5 of the best wrestlers like in the ring with me at the same time, and then you have this kid that just debuted a couple years ago, or not even like a year and a half ago.
But the good thing is you listen. You don't think you know it all, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of young cats, when I'm in the locker room, they don't seek out advice. They just go out there and do stupid. And then when they come back, I got to go to them and go, bro, I know you didn't ask me, but it would have looked a lot better if you did it this way, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
were they like that with you? Like after the match, they come back and say, hey, well, maybe try this next time or something like what's
so
that?
We would all finish up after the match and kind of just talk about what could work better, what didn't work formula wise. And then, but most of the time they were always pretty happy with it. The first couple times we did some things, we adjusted, and then for me, because I was the green kid in there, I didn't know what to do or how to do certain things. So they would tell me, I would adjust the next night, and then they were like, "Yeah, that was good." And then we'd continue to just keep getting better in there. And most of the time we wouldn't even call it. We would just be in the ring, and I would just listen. And then another guy too, before I turned, I worked with a heel Finn, and heel Finn, it was just me and him in a singles, and I think we would do like 10 minutes at house shows, and man, he would beat my ass, but it was fun, it was good, and I enjoyed it because I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, Finn's a great wrestler.
Well,
yeah,
you picked up some stuff that not a lot of people in this ring still pick up. Is it's very important, especially with your size. You put effort into selling. It's like selling isn't just like like I can't stand this wrestling day where people they get kicked and they act like they're concussed, like the video games, or like you just stand there like your hands don't go up to the place where you got kicked or anything, like, and you were very good at that, like right off the bat. I was like, wow, he sells like I do. Sell the point of contact. If you get kicked in the stomach, grab your stomach. You get kicked in the head, grab your head. That's good selling. You pick that up right away. So I like.
Thank you. That's I like to think it's just from watching it my whole life. It's kind of just like
right.
Like because Ray's an incredible seller, bro. So either through osmosis or him teaching you, Ray's an incredible seller, and that's one of the best things you picked up from him. And the other thing is you have no problem showing ass and begging off when you have to, you know what I'm saying? And being, so, I'm just so happy to see I remember talking to you, I don't know how many years it was, Dominic, but I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, and you still weren't sure what you wanted to do. And it was the first time that you ever said, hey, I want to try wrestling. And I was like, bro, if you want to try wrestling, let's do it. You know, don't wait till you get too old, and you got the right people to teach you. From the day we had that conversation, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, to right now, man, what a growth period, because you're now one of the boys. The last time we talked with you, you were here with your dad. You know, you were still like on training wheels, you know?
For sure.
Now you're doing your own conversations, your tattoo, in prison, you know, and just living la vida loca.
Well, speaking of living la vida loca, you're a good-looking kid. You're young. What's it like? Me and Konnan, like if we go back in the day, bro. Like, what's it like? How's the talent in the bar? The hotel bar after the show? Are there a lot? Like, are the shows like after the shows? Are there hot chicks around?
Believe it or not, I don't go out much. I usually, if it's like like the
that.
like the
I definitely don't play. Come on, you got a girlfriend? She listening right now?
She might be listening. 1,000.
My fiance. But it's I'll go out with the boys on the big shows usually, like whether it's a Rumble or Money in the Bank
but
or
it's
WrestleMania.
Like seltzers and
because I don't drink.
Yeah.
Right.
So but there has been times where a couple of the vets have pulled me aside and have been like, hey, you gotta
do a shot of Jack.
Right.
Yeah, with me.
And that's how you bond with the older guys, bro.
And I never back down. I'll tell them, I was like, hey, I'll do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you know the boys are ribbers, bro. They want to try to get Rey Mysterio's kid drunk. You know?
I've been
bro,
told
you're
already.
lucky. Let me tell you why you're lucky. Because it isn't the pill era. If it would have been the pill era, somebody would have pilled you, Dominic. I guarantee you,
100%.
they would have pilled you and cut off that mullet.
Yeah, you would have got a house,
and probably your eyebrows, bro. They did that to Eddie right before his wedding, and he had the nasty boys, and he was furious, and I would with him and tell everybody, bro, don't say anything to Eddie because I think he has cancer because he had no and he goes, you dude. So but bro, it was hilarious because he went to his wedding with no eyebrows, bro. Imagine that.
That's tremendous.
Yes, that is tremendous. That's the boys back in the day. So, are there any agents that you like working with that helped you really a lot? Or
do you remember Sean Davari? Davari was in the club the other night. He lives like 10 minutes from me. Not even.
Yeah, Davari's in Vegas. I've talked to him about because my parents are out there and I'm looking at buying a house out there. So I told him I was looking into some properties out there. But yeah, I love Davari as an agent. There's honestly all of the agents back there have been really helpful to me.
Let me ask you if this guy's agent your match. A friend of the show, Shane Helms.
Yes, Shane Helms has been of many of my matches.
Nice. Yeah, he's great. Have you had Abyss?
I actually had Abyss on Monday.
Yeah, he's great too.
Yeah, him and Ken, and then Jamie Noble
Who's
also.
Ken?
Kenny Dolan, I think.
Kenny Dykstra.
Oh, one of the guys that was a male cheerleader.
Spirit Squad, yeah.
Yeah, I love that gimmick.
Yeah, dude, he's been awesome. Jamie Noble, like I said, they've all just been Adam Pierce.
Who's
Jason
the
Jordan.
lead? They usually have like the lead agent guy, like the number one. Who's like the lead agent guy?
I think it's Michael Hayes.
Michael Hayes is cool.
Yeah,
Really?
and even Michael Hayes has been super helpful, man. He pulls me aside and gives me advice, and like I said, everyone has just been so helpful to me, and they've been very welcoming with open arms, man, and I can't be thankful.
Bro,
enough.
Michael Hayes and Bruce Pritchard, they've done it all. They've seen it all. They've been with WWE for years. That's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What were you gonna say, Di?
How's your how was your relationship with Vince? How was your relationship with Hunter? Like the top dogs are like do you have you close with them, or just kind of like, hey, do you see him like,
I feel like I had a good relationship with them. It was always very professional. Hi and hello, goodbye. Hi and gorilla after my matches, thank you, stuff like that. But I don't know. I think it's a little different for me since I've kind of been around them since I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Have you been scolded yet at a show?
I don't think so. But they have gotten on me because I've gotten a reputation for missing some flights.
Uh-oh. Well, that's a Mexican. That's hysterical. Dude, let me tell you something. I had to drive Konnan, Ray, and Hoovy around. Okay,
That's
I had to
tremendous.
make the car reservations.
Mexican time, Dom.
I had to make the hotel reservations, stuff, everything. So be like, okay, we got to be at the town at 3:00 or 2:00 the next day, right? And it's a 2-hour drive. All right, I would tell the guys, okay, let's meet at noon. Well, like 12:30 comes around, Conan's not down yet. Here come Konnan and Ray. 12:45, here comes Hoovy, and we got to rush to the show where they're late, so everything.
And we want to stop somewhere to eat because we haven't eaten.
So then it'd be like, okay, we got to leave at 12. Okay, guys, 11:30. Well, they smarted up to that quick. It'd still be 12:30, 12:45 because they knew I was there. But then still, so I'm just waiting on these guys all the time. I don't know what it is about you Mexicans, but But seriously,
we just take our time. There's no rush.
There's no rush.
It takes time to look this good, It takes time.
But the worst part is, Black Magic or Norman Smiley, he once went with us, and I forgot. He tells the story way better than I do, but I forgot what it might have been. What girl was also waiting for us, and she was like, "I can't believe these guys. I can't believe that." He goes,
"Oh, Tigress."
Was Tigress? Yeah, he's on Mexican time,
Yeah.
And
then they come down like she's complaining, they're late and everything, and they come down and Ray's like, "Well, that's just how we roll, baby." Remember that line? That's how we
that
roll.
was great.
I gotta ask Norman.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. Any major differences, but for working for Vince and how he likes things or how he explains things, how he wants done in Hunter?
Not really. As far as it's all very different environment, from when Vince wanted a certain thing to with Hunter, he's out, and if you have a question, he's out walking around and you can go up to him. It was very rare when you saw Vince because he was always in his office.
Right.
But it kind of just, depends on how you look at it. For me, it's all the same, man. I just show up to have some fun.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question that you would probably, before anything, any good movies, any good TV series you've seen that you would recommend?
I recently saw Wednesday because I've all the hype about it. Right. I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. And it was actually pretty good. I saw Wednesday.
Is that a movie or is that a TV
It's,
series?
the Addams Family?
Yeah. The girl, yeah.
They just did the spin-off of Wednesday.
The girl, yeah.
On Netflix with Jenna Ortega. And it's actually it's pretty good. And Luis Guzman plays
I love him.
Man, what's his name? He plays Gomez. He's awesome.
He's great.
So it's actually a pretty good show.
Right. Anything else you've seen?
I just saw the Knives Out Glass Onion with Dave Bautista.
What do you think of that?
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Dave looked incredible, especially when he came out of the pool with the gun in his.
Dude, when doesn't he though?
Yeah, right. Bro, the first time I saw him, I thought he was Latino, and I was like, "Hey, bro, what nationality are you?" Like,
he's Filipino.
Right? He goes, "I'm Filipino and Greek," and I'm like, "Bro, that's the biggest Filipino I've ever seen in my life." I go, "Bro, you're gonna be." This was before he was even a star. I go, "Mark my words, you're gonna be a star one day." He was like not really anybody at that time.
That's crazy. I didn't know he was Filipino until I believe my dad and I were watching a Manny Pacquiao fight, and he goes, "Hey, there's Dave," and I was like, "What's Batista doing out coming out with Pacquiao?" And he goes, "He's Filipino," and I was like, "I never knew."
Yeah. When he told me that, I was like, "What the hell?" And
Tom, if you're looking, I don't know if you've seen it. So if you've seen it, my bad. But if you're looking for something to watch while you're on the plane or working out or something, watch the whole series of The Wire. Konnan and I were just talking about it.
Did you see that?
One of the best shows
on.
Oh,
HBO.
Bro, that's
an old
incredible.
HBO show. They said it's one of the best HBO series of all time.
Yeah, it's about Baltimore drug dealers and the cops and the politicians, and it all intertwines.
I think The Sopranos was the best, but Wire's number 2 for sure.
Tom, you said you were starting The Sopranos last time you were on the show,
started
right?
it. I don't want no heat here, guys, but I started it, and that first episode bored me to death.
Yeah.
What?
I could see
that. Oh my god!
I've never kazooed you.
Serious?
So,
bro,
so I was
no. I will say this. Sopranos, this was absolutely a thing. The first episode was never really good. The second one was always awesome.
Yeah.
The second episode and the second to last episode was always great.
The characters, the storylines, the villains, bro, it's incredible. Back then, For me, it was must-see TV.
Bro, you need to watch Oz.
Oz is great.
I did the same thing with Game of Thrones.
Oz, right? Yeah.
Have you seen Oz?
No, I haven't seen Oz.
Go watch it
right down your alley.
Yeah,
Prison Guys.
Yeah, it is. It really is a great show.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Let me
Check
ask you
those
this.
out. Yeah.
I gotta check them out.
What'd you say about Thrones, Dom?
I did the same thing with Game of Thrones. I watched the whole first season. And I was like, man, this sucks.
I did that. Yeah.
And then I stayed off of it, and then I continued with the hype, and I was like, man, I'll give it another shot. And I pushed through that whole first season, and then I started getting back into it once I rewatched it the second time. So I'll probably have to do that with The Sopranos.
Did you watch House of the Dragon? Did you?
I did watch House of the Dragon.
I haven't watched House of the Dragon.
Good. Yeah.
How was that?
It's good. It like the first Game of Thrones. It starts off a little slow, and all the time jumps kind of throw you off. But once you get to like those last 3-4 episodes,
bro, what's that show? Was it Bad Boys or what was it? Those superheroes that were off?
Oh, The Boys.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen The Boys.
What,
The Boys
what
is
do you think
good.
of that? Yeah,
I loved
it.
it. And I just recently finished an old school HBO show called Entourage. I'd never.
Yeah.
I saw
bro,
I'd never seen it,
incredible.
and
I've been watching that
it,
again recently.
And I was like, man, this show's so good.
Yeah.
It kind of came along in the right time.
Ari Gold, that was an
Ari Gold's the best.
But just as that show ended, a little bit of PC culture started coming in, and Entourage wouldn't fit right now because you know what I mean. It's kind of with the dudes always looking for chicks.
Plus, the great thing is they always had like cameos from Hollywood stars.
Yeah, everyone. Well, because Mark Wahlberg was producing it, so he would just give a phone call.
Yeah, bro, you should see the Larry David show. Check that out.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
There's like 13 seasons.
Have you seen that?
I've seen the first season, and I love it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this:
Did you see Euphoria?
No, I haven't seen Euphoria.
All right, go ahead, Di.
Who's your crew that you travel with on the road, and what are your go-to restaurants when you're traveling?
So usually it's me and Austin.
You in theory?
And then
he's getting. I love what he's doing. He's improved so much, man.
He's the man. That's my boy.
Yeah. I saw you guys when you were in Vegas. Yeah. Cool,
Me in theory, and usually Priest and Riddle tag along in another car, or Finn will come in with us.
Riddle's a maniac.
Riddle's a good dude.
Yeah.
So, what are your go-to restaurants usually when you guys are on the road?
Go-to restaurants usually Texas Roadhouse, because those rolls are phenomenal.
Yeah, aren't they unbelievable?
I had never had them until I was on the road, and Austin was like, "Dude, we got to go to Texas Roadhouse." He's
Bro, they opened up a Texas Roadhouse here, and I swear to God that it opens at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's like it's packed at 4:30 in the afternoon. Like there's a line outside waiting, and it's just like busy from the entire time.
They don't have one in San Diego, right, Dom?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
but people in San Diego just go to In-N-Out anyways.
Or Cracker Barrel.
Give me the typical wrestler order at Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse, we start off with about two basket of rolls, and then we'll do 2 New York ribs with mashed potatoes and corn. I'll eat one of them there, and then I'll take the other one to go to eat after the show finishes up. And then we hit the road.
Right. Where else do you eat? Like after the show, you guys want to eat? Where do you go?
Waffle House if it's open.
Let me give you the Waffle House. This was the old school Waffle House order: 6 scrambled egg whites, grilled chicken breasts, steamed hash browns, dry wheat toast.
Everybody ate that.
That's what everybody ate. What do you guys eat?
Dude, we go for the waffles, egg whites, and the sandwich there with the hash browns, and we just go to town.
Right. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's. By the way, I know this wouldn't apply to you.
House, right?
I know this wouldn't apply to you, but that's good munchy food.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you another question, because this I would ask you in private anyways. So we'll just save some time. What do you know the type of music I like? What's on your playlist right now that you would recommend to me?
Oh man, my playlist has been a little all over the place. I don't know if you'd like my playlist right now.
All right,
I've been listening to a lot to man.
What?
Believe it or not.
Wait
yes.
a second. Is that Austin Theory?
What do you got?
Let me tell you,
the older stuff or newer?
Scott Hall once told me, "Oh, this is Waylon Jennings, and he's great, and all this other." He put it in the thing. I ejected it, and I threw it out the window like a frisbee. And country was never played while I drove, because Scott never drove. Yeah. So the rule was the driver is the DJ, and he picks the music.
I
Yeah.
play everything, man, from hip hop, R&B,
All right.
country,
So I'm not into country, but
reggaeton.
who do you listen to in country just for people that like country music?
I've been listening to a lot of Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen,
So
Ooh.
yeah.
Ernest.
Did you ever give you know who Ryan
He's
Bingham
got the
is?
mullet, so he's a
Yeah.
redneck now.
Right.
Yeah, I got the
Billy Ray
mullet now,
Cyrus.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan Bingham's pretty good.
Yeah, I like
did
Ryan.
you watch Yellowstone?
Yeah, I did watch
Okay, so
Yellowstone.
he's Walker on Yellowstone. Yeah.
So
Gotcha,
no lie,
yeah.
so no lie. At our club, when I open up in the back, right, and we open up before we're open, so it's quiet. So I have my computer back there, and I got my speakers. I got my playlist. This is my diverse playlist on my thing. So for those about to rock, We Salute You, LaGrange by ZZ Top, Thank God I'm a Country Boy by John Denver, like maybe an old Who song, a House song, Country Boy Can't Survive, and The Devil Went Down to Georgia. So
I like that song.
I got some good country like it.
Have you ever heard that song,
There's some good old
Dominic?
I think I have.
Dom, to do Devil Went. If you like country,
Check that out.
Devil Went Down to Georgia and A Country Boy Can't Survive by Hank Jr. Two great old school country songs. So you'll like those.
But
All right,
don't get me wrong. You know, I still got my Outkast, Lil Wayne, Drake.
Now, will I ever see you
everybody
like in a
does that,
cowboy hat and boots, kicking it, or no?
Dude, maybe. You never
You know
know.
who used to?
bro,
You know who
seriously.
used to sport that look? Minus the cowboy hat, even though he did wear it on occasion and he got destroyed by me for doing it. Eddie would wear boots all the time. He was from Texas.
So for funny story, when I first turned heel after Clash at the Castle, I didn't have any black shoes. So I had the whole black fit, but I didn't have any black shoes. And Jamie Noble had a pair of black like snakeskin boots, and he's like, "If these fit you, rock them." So I threw them on, and they fit me perfectly. And I went out there for the first time with some cowboy boots.
Sweet, bro. I have all these cowboy boots in my closet, like still to this day, that I bought in Mexico because boots are big there. And ostrich, alligator, sweet, bro. Yeah,
I gotta come check them out.
Yeah.
That would be a bad gimmick for Dom. It's like he's kind of like the fake gangster now. If he was like did like the fake cowboy, like you have the cowboy hat, like
Or he could come out, like Cowboy Hangman Page with jeans with butterflies on them. Nothing.
Oh,
Oh man.
So you got the country. Okay, we can put that to the side. What else you listening to?
So I've been mixing a lot of Jimi Hendrix, Nirvana, AC/DC.
Whoa.
A lot of Bob Marley,
Whoa.
Revolution.
You like
Slightly
AC/DC?
Stupid.
One of my favorite songs growing up. Go play Jailbreak '74.
I love that song.
That song is awesome. Yes, you love it. You hear that? Yeah.
Who's
excellent.
Revolution?
Revolution is like a reggae group.
Okay.
So I listen to a lot of reggae too. I'm telling you, man, I'm all over the place with my music. It kind of just depends what mood I'm in.
Right.
And I'll hop in the car, and if I'm feeling some hip hop, I'll throw on some hip hop. If I'm feeling reggae, I'll throw on reggae. I got playlists for everything.
Now you said you listen to reggaeton. Who do you listen to?
I listen to DJ Luyan. I listen to Bunny. I listen to Arcángel, Anuel. There's what's his name? Ozuna, and even like traditional Mexican music with Grupo Firme and Karin Leon, guys like that.
Well, Grupo Firme is from Tijuana, bro. They're just killing.
Yeah, they're awesome, man.
You like Julian Alvarez? I know. Andy
I like Julian Alvarez too.
Yeah.
I got one last question. You get paid by that, like when we worked, we get the same paycheck every week because we were in guaranteed deals, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys get paid by the house and stuff, everything. Bro, what's the first check you got where you're like your eyes just like wow, that's a lot of money. It's like for what show? Like was the first show that you really got paid? It was like
So actually, it was before I went on contract because I was getting paid per show and like per. I did SummerSlam without being on contract, so I got paid for that pay-per-view. And
so they were just using like Bray's kid, and you're just coming on the show, like you're not really like a WWE.
We were in the middle of negotiations, so it was all kind of being handled at the time. But in good faith, I was like, yeah, dude, I'll do it. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, So I jumped on it. But after that SummerSlam and that following, because I did SummerSlam and then Monday Night Raw. And then that following week, we did Payback with when I tagged with my dad for the first time, like back to back. So I got 2 pay-per-view checks and a couple TV checks right off, like in one sitting. And that's when I was like, oh, I was like, this is pretty crazy.
Bro, you have such a, compared to what we did, a lax schedule, because we were literally on, and I know you know this because you grew up with your dad, probably not at the house ever. We were on the road 30 days straight. We'd come back 2 or 3 days, which one day you spend recuperating. And then we were back on the road another 30 days. At least you guys get rest periods,
Yeah, and we get a good amount of rest periods too.
Yeah, they're taking care of their talent now, so it doesn't break down and they have to be on substances to go from town to town,
Yeah.
But now that you got all this time, because there's so much wrestling now compared to before, is there any other wrestling like you're on Raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you kind of follow besides Raw, like SmackDown or AEW or Japanese wrestling or AAA or anything else, or not really?
I try to watch a little bit of everything,
Right.
Just to kind of keep up with it. And plus, I follow a lot of talent and all the companies on social media and stuff. So I'm always kind of up to date on what's going on. But yeah, I'm constantly watching like AAA. I watched the new Wrestle Kingdom that earlier this week. I keep up with SmackDown and NXT. So I'm literally always watching. But my go-tos is that old school WCW.
That's what I was going to ask you if you watch older stuff. It's funny to say, but that is older stuff now,
Yeah, that's my go-to. Man.
Why do you like it? Why do you like it?
You know why I like it. It's just to me it's just it was so different back then on how everything was done, and it just kind of made sense.
Yeah, and mix of every style.
Plus, all your godfathers were on it.
Yeah, I had 6 of them performing in the same match at once. It's kind of
right.
So, but it's just the psychology for it and how everything was done and how they would interact with the crowd and just like all these little tidbits, even like early 2000s, like Attitude Era with WWE. It's just like watching like
that was a great era. And that was a great era.
Edge and Christian and the Nation, like dude, like that's top tier wrestling for me.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I just want to tell you, thank you for coming on to Keeping It 100. You always a open forum for you to come here. We love you, bro. Keep doing your thing, and
if we ever give you criticism on those shows, everything's very constructive always.
Oh, I know. Like I told my Nino, there's one thing that like if it's like anything else other than wrestling, I'll debate it and I'll speak my mind to it. But wrestling, when it comes to everyone that's been there before me, I'm open ears, man, because there's years of knowledge and experience that I don't know, and I'm an open book. So,
bro, that's a great thing about him. He never gets butthurt over. He never melts like a snowflake. As a matter of fact, his generation, which I have a huge dislike for, because of all this woke.
Bro, let me ask you a question. What's it like, backstage? Like, there's a lot of politics is a big thing these days. You see everybody like, are there a lot of guys backstage that are like really into politics and like, like there's a lot of conversations about it all the time, or people just don't like in that culture, they don't really get into it.
I feel like they don't really get into it, man, unless it's like the only time that I saw it was like during election times when people would talk about the election coming up. But other than that, I don't feel like it's a topic of discussion in the locker room or
what
even
percentage of the
company.
locker room would you say is Trump, and what percentage you say hate him? Well, this is a good question though. Just you don't got to tell me who. Just what percentage? Is it 50-50, 64? Like now, it's like
I mean, I would have to go 50-50, right? I don't like because I haven't really. Man, it's hard for me to even like say it because I'm not involved in it, and I don't like. And I'm like, if you come talk to me about politics, I'm going to turn the other way because I don't know enough to hold up a conversation about it.
Right.
Well, I just want to reiterate one more time. As you know, we're proud of you, bro. Keep doing your thing. I love the homage to your godfather. Great look. Everybody, positive comments.
I liked how he had the bandana around his thing, but he didn't have it above his ear. He had it like under the ear and everything, like kind of like like he was wearing a frog. I love that. Remember like when Jerry Lawler used to have the crown and he used to wear it like over the ear. You know? So, I don't know. It's hysterical.
So good, Dom. See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for being on Keeping It 100. Boom! Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!